Adam Collins and Michael Vaughan at Cricbuzz chatter on another day, which was, well, we called yesterday deeply disappointing. This might have even been worse. There was some cricket. Pakistan added 13 to their overnight total. They were all out for 236. They took an early wicket, that of Rory, Shaheen, Afridi. Gorgeous bowling off the top. But when the score was 7-1, the rain came. It kept coming and coming. Play was called off at 10-4, Vaughanie, and now the sunshine is beaming at Southampton. It's a really weird way for the day's play to have ended.
Yeah, well, it's 6:45 now, and for the last 2 hours, probably 2.5 hours, it's been absolutely glorious. We've had the sun cream on. The England players have been on the balconies above me sunbathing. Henry, who's our camera operator, has got his shorts. He's about to get his Speedos on. It's that kind of afternoon. It's absolutely glorious. The ground staff came out and they mopped up the covers. Why they weren't doing that earlier in the day, no idea. There's just been such a lack of urgency to get the game on this week, but we're hopeful for a few overs tomorrow. You just never know. We might get more than the few that we've had today. And even though we had a few, I thought the Pakistan bowling, it looked treacherous from an England batsman point of view. It was going all over the place. Shaheen, Afridi, Mohammad, Abbas just wobbling it either way. I think England were quite happy to be sat on the balconies watching the rainfall today because it looked very tough for batting.
Yeah, let's just double back on the idea of the urgency from ground staff. I mean, I'm not there. Don't have the benefit of sort of seeing it minute to minute, but there seems to be a consensus from the colleagues in the press box and what you've been tweeting about as well, that there's something amiss with what's going on in that there's been no work happening while the rain has been coming or drizzle. Give us a sense of that.
Yeah, I mean, I travel the world and watch cricket, and you generally see a lot of ground staff. When the rain's happening, it's pouring down, of course, you don't expect them to be out there. But when it softens and it's just sprinkling in the air, you see the super sopper come out and start to get a lot of the kind of big puddles off the tarpaulin covers earlier, just so, you know, when it does stop, you're a little bit ahead of the game. There's been none of that this week. The frustration for me is they do nothing during the day, but they're more than willing to get the mowers going at 6 a.m. to wake us up in the morning, but they do nothing when you kind of have to look out the balcony at 8 o'clock when you're trying to see some action. It's been frustration for everybody. This is a draw. There's no chance of a result, obviously. I guess England are just batting for a little bit of batting points tomorrow, and if Pakistan can knock over a few of those top order England players, it might have a negative effect on them going into Friday's test match. But it's been frustration once again.
Not a lot to discuss in terms of the play, but Rory was out early. Got a good delivery, but he won't get another opportunity in this match, of course, because tomorrow, as you say, will more than likely, almost certainly be a draw. It gives him one more test this summer. He's had a relatively lean run. It's not to say for a moment that his spot's in jeopardy, but it'll be a slightly frustrating couple of months for him.
Yeah, it will be. I mean, this opening partnership that England have in Sibley and Burns alike, you know, it's full of a little bit of unorthodoxy, but I like the character. You just look at Rory Burns' technique. With that technique of that right foot going outside off somebody's head following, it hasn't worked in tough conditions this summer. He's been at LBW a few times. Today he gets a beauty. There's not a great deal he could have done with that. But with a technique like that, you know, I'm not too sure it's going to help him out when the ball's moving around. So when he does get in, as he did against the West Indies here, he's got to make it count. He didn't go big. Getting out cheaply as an opening batsman, I'm afraid it's part of the job. You do get a few low scores, but the more low scores you get and the more that technique gets questioned at this level, particularly with people like me and many others analysing it, it's all about the character and your strength of mind to make sure that you come back and just watch the ball, because a couple more failures next week, of course, I expect them to carry on opening the batting together, but you wouldn't want to finish a summer as an opening batsman without a big score, and so far he's had a decent score at Old Trafford. He has looked okay. He doesn't look like he's completely out of sync, but I just worry about that front foot, that right foot going outside of off stump. I just think he's getting into a position of not aligning the ball up perfectly, and that could be a challenge for him, particularly when the ball starts moving around, as we've seen throughout the 5 test matches this summer.
Vaughan, pressing fast forward. But I was at a test match a few years ago when Stephen Smith, as captain, offered to declare his innings closed in exchange for the West Indies declaring their innings closed in a game like this where 3 games were interrupted by rain. The Windies didn't go for it. There was a game in a series you were involved in back in 2000 where that did happen. We won't go into great depth on that, but I suppose there is the possibility that England could get funky tomorrow. They could declare 199 runs behind and force the issue and try and take 10 wickets. I suppose with the World Test Championship, you are incentivised to do whatever you can to get a win. But is there any possibility of something crazy tomorrow?
Oh, I'd love to say yes. I'd love to say that it would be a great spectacle if that happened, but the reality is that's just a dream. I just can't see, with England 1-0 up in the series on a pitch like this, I don't think they're going to gamble anything. And why would you? With a test match starting on Friday, England will try and bat out the day, try and get a few runs behind them. Look at Zach Crawley at number 3, back in the side. It's a great opportunity for him. Dom Sibley at the top of the order. 2 young players making the way. The captain at 4. He could do with a big score. So I don't think England will be looking to do anything but bat the day out, but it will be difficult because the ball will be moving around, and this Pakistan seam attack in particular will be thinking about taking a few scalps tomorrow to try and put those batsmen in a negative state of mind for Friday's start.
A dreadful day again, unfortunately. Barely any cricket. At the close of the 4th, though, we've had 96 overs across the entirety of the Test match so far. Let's hope beyond hope we get something decent tomorrow to round it out. And at Stumps, we'll be here, of course, Cricbuzz chatter, Adam Collins and Michael Vaughan.
And just to finish on, I'm getting burnt here. That's ironic, isn't it?